I made a video last year where I touched upon the development and evolution of the Metropolitan Police's radio systems. I described the VHF mainset that came into existence around the end of the 1980s and the enormous trunk system that replaced it known as Met Radio, which was used for the majority of the force's communications towards the mid to late 1990s. I'll link that video below because it's really a precursor to this one. There were some extremely sensitive and secret communications that were all transmitted out in the open for scanner buffs to hear in those days. What's more is that these frequencies could be picked up using information from off-the-shelf publications. The problem was the books tended to be messy, out of date, full of duplicates, and full of mistakes, but they provided a starting point if nothing else. I touched on some of the secret frequencies in my previous video, but held back because of a paranoia I suppose about revealing too much. I've decided to revisit the subject in more detail however, on account of the fact that all of the information is out of date today and pretty much meaningless from a national security perspective. In the years since the systems and structures I'm about to talk about were used, numerous police radio overhauls and modernisation programs have taken place, meaning that the current structure is completely different. The frequencies and call signs I'll discuss were assigned to people, many of whom are no longer alive, and of course the users of those frequencies and call signs are now completely encrypted. Between 1987 and 1989, there was a major overhaul in the UK's Emergency Services Radio Communications Scheme. There was a mass migration during this time of police radio systems from low-band VHF to high-band VHF and UHF. The new Metropolitan Police VHF radio system was divided into 5 main areas or divisions: Central, Northwest, Northeast, Southeast and Southwest. Each area was assigned to what was known as a VHF mainset frequency or channel. There were 15 mainset channels. Highly sensitive and secretive communications took place on Channel 8, completely unencrypted and out in the open. During the 1990s, the most sensitive radio communications imaginable were being eavesdropped on. Radio scanner books and newsletters were packed to the brim with all manner of frequencies, and easily accessible message boards flooded with an almost daily flurry of new information that anybody could digest. The best channels to monitor were used by Diplomatic and Royalty Protection and the Special Escort Group, which really does what it says on the tin. SO14, the Royalty Protection Group, is a component of the Metropolitan Police Service Protection Command. SO14 is responsible for guarding the royal family and associated residences, and consists of a number of sections, namely Personal and Close Protection, Residential Protection, and the Special Escort Group. Uniformed SO14 officers guard royal residences in London, Windsor, and Scotland, including protecting the general public that visit them. The Special Escort Group, or SEG, provides additional security for when members of the royal household are on the move. Their duties include diplomatic and royal protection, but also the escort of sensitive movements such as the crown jewels, Category A prisoners, confiscated contraband, and gold bullion, under the call sign Ranger. Even more interesting was what became known in the scanning community as the Purple Channel. The Purple Channel was different in that it used AM as opposed to narrow FM like the other Met Police channels. It was used by SO14, and it was alleged that before it disappeared over 25 years ago, it formed part of a phone patch system that went through to the royal residences. You could often hear a senior officer from an escort contact Buckingham Palace Telephone Exchange and be put through to other palace departments or royal residences. All royal movements around the city and beyond used the call sign prefix purple, followed by a number. Members of the British royal family used 1 or 2 digit call signs. Queen Elizabeth II was assigned Purple 1, which was alluded to publicly in later years. Prince Philip was assigned Purple 5. There were 20 known purple call signs, with a handful assigned to unidentified royals. Whether Purples 2, 3 and 4 were ever assigned between Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip isn't clear. Purple Courier was assigned to the Royal Mail Escort. Within the Special Branch Escort Service itself, Metro Purple was assigned to the Special Branch Commander, Metro Purple 61 was assigned to the Special Branch Press Officer, and Metro Purple 77 to the Special Branch Collator, who collated and passed information on potential threats. Depending on which team were with a royal family member, a suffix was used to denote an advance team or an escort team. The Royal train was also fitted with a full radio system, which allowed it to communicate with any police force area it travelled through. When it was in use, the purple suffix would be T. During the late 1990s, purple movements changed to Channel 24 and were incorporated into the Met Radio trunk system in August 1999. Uniformed SO14 officers guard royal residences in London and the rest of the UK. They had their own call signs and channels too. Buckingham Palace, for example, was Rapier Bravo, the Bravo denoting the B in Buckingham. Rapier Kilo was Kensington Palace, and so on. There were a number of identified frequencies used by the Special Escort Group. This unit provides additional security for when members of the royal household are on the move. The Special Escort Group includes armed motorcycle riders who guard motorcades carrying members of the royal family. A motorcade protected by the SEG may also include marked and unmarked vehicles containing armed policemen. The SEG also provides protection for visiting dignitaries, as well as high-risk prisoners and high-value loads. On occasion, they may provide motorcycle outriders for the British Prime Minister's motorcade. SEG deploy motorcycle outriders to clear the route ahead of a motorcade. This is often achieved by blocking junctions or traffic lanes. The goal of the SEG outriders is to enable the VIP convoy to keep moving, therefore avoiding presenting a stationary target to would-be attackers, while causing minimal disruption to the public. One outrider, known as the Easy Rider, stays directly ahead of the lead vehicle at all times, while the other riders, the working bikes, are constantly leapfrogging ahead to control the traffic and clear a path for the convoy. Special Branch were believed to have used their own VHF sets with their own channels before Met Radio was introduced. These channels were also used by close protection. In cases where royals or dignitaries arrived at a location by helicopter, no special escort was required, and so often, local Special Branch would provide protection. For Special Branch diplomatic and government escorts, 147.8625 was used in the main. For high-level British and foreign dignitaries, the call sign prefix Metpol was used, with Metpol 701 allocated to the Prime Minister. Margaret Thatcher was believed to have been assigned Metpol 742, and George W. Bush was assigned Metpol 740. The other much larger part of the Met Police's system was the Met Radio UHF allocation. This was a trunked Motorola Type 2 system that was rolled out in 1996. It utilised 14 sites and could be monitored using a normal scanner, although trunk scanners worked better, and people wrote software to enable the tracking of communications on this system. Also known as Motorola Smart Zone, whenever an officer pressed the PTT on their radio, the radio changed frequency and was able to use a pool of 10 or so frequencies for each area or cell. Met Radio UHF was divided into 14 cells, with the first frequency in each cell being the primary control channel. The second and third were usually alternate control channels. By late 1999, most of the users I've talked about in this video had migrated to Met Radio, but were still using conventional radios in conjunction with the new trunk system in the very early 2000s. By 2001, the purple channel had fallen silent. By this time, secure in the knowledge that anything and everything could be listened to, the government was looking for an alternative. The rollout of the new radio system, TETRA Airwave, was beginning to take shape behind the scenes. The Metropolitan Police Service completed its transition to Airwave by September 2007. The final borough switchover was finalised on September 18, 2007. The Met Radio system was switched off shortly after, and from then on, the juiciest, most secretive, highly sensitive communications within the country and its capital were encrypted.